It's wonderful to get to meet you, and I've read your chapter in the Brilliant Breakthroughs for the Small Business Owner. And here you are. We're celebrating an amazing day today for the book launch of Brilliant Breakthroughs, the fifth in the volume. Wow! Awesome. So tell us, why did you decide to be in this book, to write a chapter in this book?
It was what I could see was a golden opportunity to be surrounded by great co-authors who are experts in their field and bring tons and tons of years of experience. And to be with that community was just an honor. So when I had the opportunity, I just seized it. And then to be associated with Maggie's greatness, our publisher, was just the next level. That was just like icing on the cake.
She's
But I also
she.
had a really important. Go ahead. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead, Phoenicia.
No, I was going to say that, based on the sequence, the blocks that we all brought together, I just saw that what I wanted to bring as far as an offering would fit so nicely with all the other building blocks from the other co-authors. So it was just synergistic on another level.
Well, it's been very interesting to see that, with all these interviews going throughout the day and having read everybody's chapters as I've helped Maggie put this all together, it's really fascinating to see how each chapter just kind of dovetails into the next, and really a good blend of wisdom and expertise and knowledge and things that's bringing to the world. So your chapter is actually called Time Integrity Ending Ahead of Time. So what's the story behind this?
Well, studying productivity as a hobby for a very long time before I realized it was my calling. The thing that I noticed when I was a young teenager was when I experienced the first death in my family. My cousin had passed away, and time had just frozen, and it was like time just showed up for me in a new way because I questioned all the things I did prior to her passing, where I gave up opportunities to spend time with her and to create memorable experiences, all because of various levels of procrastination, delays, waiting to last minute to get my schoolwork done, stuff like that. So I realized how much of from a social opportunity perspective, I'm missing out on by not looking at time in a different way. And during COVID time, I wanted to test some theories that I've actually observed, and I reached out to about 50 friends and colleagues to say, hey, you got all the time in your hands now. Are you doing all the stuff you've always said you wanted to do? If you had endless amounts of time, are you learning the guitar? Are you studying Mandarin? Et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of them said, no, we're not. And I'm like, what's going on? And so the reality is that with all these productivity solutions that are out there, they make us more of a slave to the process versus really stepping back and realizing that we all have a relationship to time that needs to be examined. So it gets into the category of time psychology, right? Is how we look at time, right? And if time is always the enemy, then we're always going to feel scarcity. And so it's really more of a mindset around time that we need to talk more about.
Well, in time, it feels like time is just going, like, it's ultra speeded up somehow. It feels like we're looking at in mid-November, and what happened to this year? It just went boom. And so, when I was a kid, I thought a day would take forever to get through. It's just such a difference now, and maybe it's because we're older. I don't know, but it does seem like things have it's just everything's fast. But my grandchildren even think time has gone by fast. And I don't think I ever said that
Yeah.
when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets into that intentionality to be more intentional with time, right? It's being able to feel time in your body, to feel the seconds. Like if I If I had a stopwatch and I put it in your hands and I say, close your eyes, and I want you to start the stopwatch and then stop it when you feel 10 seconds has elapsed, you may or may not be minus plus 2 seconds from 10. Eventually, you'll get better because you'll be able to feel it in your body.
Right.
Then the higher I go up, 20, 30, 40, 50 seconds, it gets harder. But it'll be amazing. It's amazing how long 10 seconds is. It's amazing how long 30 seconds is, and then 60 seconds. So it does, create more intentional awareness around time. And that's why time escapes from us, because we're not in tune with time that way.
So you ask a question in your chapter. What if by slowing down we could speed up? So what's the thought process behind that?
So the ability to change how time feels, right? When you look at like Einstein's time dilation experiments, he had two clocks, right? One clock that was moving fast, let's say in the aircraft, and then one clock that was standing stationary. Same exact clocks. The clock that showed that basically was on the aircraft actually slowed down, right? So he was kind of measuring time velocity. What ends up happening is, for time to feel slow, is that when we compress time, it sounds very stressful. But actually, by compressing time, you actually have the ability to enjoy the slow at the end of getting something done in less time, because the emotions that will pop up is a feel ahead emotion. And that feel ahead emotion expands time. So time compression leads to time expansion.
Oh, beautiful. I like that. Yeah, because we do when we get something accomplished and you've got that little bit of a break of time, things you can just breathe in and maybe not have to just keep pushing. It really, really does, truly does feel good. Yeah. You talk about Parkinson's law. What is that?
So Parkinson's law is definitely what leads us to have time integrity issues. So Parkinson's law is, and we all are masters of this at a PhD level when we're in college, but it basically, we expand the time it takes to complete a task.
Yes.
Yeah. So you remember those research reports you had to do, right?
We could put up every excuse in the world not to get it done. Till at the very last minute when you really had to do it.
Yeah.
And so the concept of ending ahead of time, how does that apply to business? And I know going to events where a lot of times the speakers go over their time, and it is, for the audience, that is pretty rude. In the sense that everybody's got other things to do. How does this apply, and how do we work it into our business to be very more cognizant of time and how it affects people?
Sure. So being able to feel ahead in business. So for about over 20 years, I've been in some kind of sales capacity type role. And what I've always thrived in is trying to figure out a way to shorten the sales cycle, number one. Number two, to blow my number out of the water so I hit accelerators, right? Who wouldn't want that? Who wants to just work for their standard commission? We want to get the accelerator. So trying to sell most things in government, usually in federal government, it's anywhere from 12 to 18 months of the sales cycle. When I first entered the sales field, the fundamental question I ask in everything in life since I was young is, can it be done faster? Really simple question. I'm very curious about that question in every possible way. The sales cycle, I was told by a lot of senior salespeople, is that's the average sales cycle. I said, well, I don't agree. And so what I did is I took the sales cycle, all the touch points of the sales cycle, and I studied it. And I said to myself, well, how many steps are there? And when there's 10, 20, 30, 40 steps, there's opportunities to figure out which steps are needed so you get to the end result faster. Basically, long story short, I was able to close a very large deal in 60 days within the federal government by understanding the psychology, the triggers, the levers, the emotions that cause a faster buying, and what actually compels this particular government agency to pull the trigger faster. And so I closed such a large deal in such a short amount of time with a team that we could relax. We wouldn't even have the pressure of the number on us for the rest of the next 2 quarters, to be honest. So that's an example of being able to feel ahead, put your feet up on the desk, and enjoy what I call BS time. Wouldn't it be
Kind
great
of
to
bask in
earn
the joy of it
B?
all.
Yeah, yeah. How many people do you know actually binge watch Netflix and are have nothing occupying their mental space of what they should be doing? That's more of the right decision with their time versus like, I deserve this. I could spend 6 hours in front of the TV and I'm still ahead.
And I'm enjoying
That's
myself,
powerful.
and I can go for a walk, and I can play with my kids. I can do all these other wonderful things. Yeah. So what is your business today? How are you a coach? What do you bring to the world?
Yeah, so I started off as a time coach, time psychologist, time psychology coach. But what I'm doing is I'm building a platform, a technology platform, uh, basically to help people pace themselves through time. It's a pacing algorithm, and then the core engine is called Einsteimer. And what we're doing is we're trying to create a plug and play solution that will also be able to plug into any timer technology out there. The problem with timers today is that they let you know when you're at 0 seconds. It's a little bit too late to kind of pace yourself through time to
Right.
ensure that you end on time or possibly ahead of time, right? So we're and with this solution that we're going to be rolling out, we'll be able to collect a lot of time data to basically make recommendations to people based on their behavior habits and a collective on can it be done faster as a premise.
Mm. That would be truly valuable, because how many of us that really, especially people that are entrepreneurs, they spend a lot of time on their business and in their business. And there's got to be ways that maybe the awful lot of repeat of things that doesn't have to be. And if you set it up right, you could really have that time where you can have your own quiet space, which will let you show up better in the world too.
Imagine a smart calendar where you put your to-do list on, right? You time box everything, because that's the number one productivity strategy globally. And what if the system or a calendar was like a timekeeper in your pocket that basically will look and scan your week and then shift things around for you automatically because you've got some free time, and then make a recommendation on where you should spend this free time based on your priorities and goals.
Wow.
It will start thinking for you.
Very, very good. I'm enjoying the comments that are happening here in our stream. Carlton says, I would love to see how long it takes business owners to move from one life cycle stage to another stage inside of Pillar 5. I'm not sure what pillar5.com is, but that it's fun to read these little comments. You're getting a lot of feedback on these comments. It's cool.
Gotcha.
So
Hopefully it's not a hate mail.
no, it looks pretty fun. I think you can see it in the stream there too. I'm not sure what you're seeing on your side.
I can
So,
I can I can actually.
yeah. So it's just been very touching today to be able to get to meet every person. I read the words when we're working on the book, but then to actually get to meet you like this is really fun. And sounded like there was some celebration going on behind the scenes back there. So I can't wait to see what's going on there. I'll be
It
interviewing.
feels it feels like I'm like on the opening day of like a blue chip stock that just went
Like,
public and they're ringing all the bells on Wall Street. Yeah,
yeah, I took
it's
a
pretty
sneak peek
wild. They're
a few
killing it
minutes
back
ago.
there.
Yes, I took a sneak
Exactly.
peek, and it's really encouraging to see what's happening. This book, it's been fun. I've worked with Maggie on this is the fourth out of five books on this, and it's truly fun to see from one year to next, meet the different personalities, the different feel of the book. Yet each book has been phenomenal. in its own right, and each person brings that extra bit of flavor. Thank you for what you've brought with this amazing book.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Becky.
All right, congratulations and enjoy. Go celebrate and have lots of fun.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.